Happy Friday, television family. We've made it almost to the end of the week. Anyway, for those of you who work Monday through Friday, we use the Gregorian calendar here at the NCW Life Channel. That makes that the 27th day of January 2023. I'm Dan Koontz. Good to see a jam-packed show today. Lots going on. Extremely mild right now. It's 43 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. Don't get used to it because we're going to go whoop. Temperature-wise, we've been talking about it. You know it's coming. We got a big Arctic cold front, a big cold, dry air mass going to come down and pay us a visit. Saturday looks pretty interesting, and then we get really cold Saturday night into Sunday, and for the majority of next week. Details are coming up. Lots of news. It was a busy day in the bullpen yesterday. Lots of sports, including highlights of last night's Eastmont Wenatchee wrestling match that Eric had with us on the NCW Life Channel. Everything else we need to get going to on a Friday. A couple of notes. In the back half of the program, first of all, Paws for Pets from our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. It's a cat. Today you're going to meet Little Girl. That's the name of the cat. And then an interview you absolutely don't want to miss. What a story from Pat West Turner. Local gal wrote her life story. It's good. It's called Skiing Uphill. I had a chance to sit down with Pat earlier in the week to talk about her book. It is a fascinating book. Just watch the interview. You'll be so glad you did. Pat West Turner, my guest in the back half of the program. Almost 2 minutes after the hour. We got a lot to go into it, so let's get right to it. Let's do it to our cameras around the valley. From Local Tel Sky-Fi Division, the snow continues to recede. We're going to get a little snow, it looks like, on Saturday early morning as the cold front comes in. It's going to come in really quickly, and then that Arctic air behind it is going to make us real cold. In the early part of next week, good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from our Heights camera, which is zoomed out about as far as it can. I see that one little bitty cloud in the upper right-hand corner, but it's warm. It's 43. Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff. We only hit 34 yesterday. Second camera takes us to number 1 Canyon, and the sun's starting to get the job done over the East Wenatchee bench. It'll be up there officially this morning at 7:33. Sunset tonight 4:55. 9 hours and 22 minutes of daylight. Camera number 3. Yeah, we're getting about 2 minutes of daylight, roughly between 90 seconds and 2 minutes of daylight per day. Lake Chelan, maybe Columbia. I don't know what we're looking at here, are you? Oh, that's the Stamen Flats camera. Okay, that's fair enough. So that would make that the Columbia River way off into the distance. You can see the mountains there. And that's still black and white. Not enough light there to have that camera out. Was that a snowflake? I think I just saw a snowflake. And camera number 4. Ooh, that's got to be Lake Wenatchee. That's a beautiful view. Look at the Kaler Glen Golf Course. That reminds me, I have to cancel my tea time today at Kaler Glen. Saw Jim Zumini yesterday. He works out at Rock On, and he says, hey, the golf course is open. And I said, it won't be this weekend, buddy. And there's still a lot of snow on Dirty Face Mountain, as you might imagine, up at Lake Wenatchee. It's good to see you folks. Got a lot of slides to show for you from the National Weather Service. First of all, the snow on Saturday. As you can see, we're kind of not going to really get any. We could get about a 1/4 of an inch tops. Most of the snow is going to be relegated on Saturday to the areas around north central Washington, but no snow at all in the Columbia Basin. The Wenatchee Valley, maybe a little bit. Upper Valley, Leavenworth Plain, maybe even a little bit into Beshaston. A little light snow, maybe up in the Omak, Okanagan area, but for the most part, we're going to miss out on the snow. But the winds could be a bit of an issue. Now, it's not going to be too bad here, but as far as the winds are concerned, these are your wind gusts, not sustained winds, just wind gusts. As this front rolls through. And it's moving at a rapid pace, which is why we have these strong winds. Gradients are going to be tightening up a little bit. Very strong winds out of the Columbia Basin. You can see by that dark red there. It's not going to be too bad here. We're going to have some wind on Saturday, but it'll be gusts more like maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour. Sustained winds, not much at all. So the Cascades are going to protect us instead of accelerating the winds. But as you can see in other locations, especially out in the Columbia Basin, the winds are going to pick up in intensity pretty good from noon Saturday until 7 a.m. on Sunday. The big thing on Saturday is going to be the travel impacts because as this cold air comes in, again, it's 43 now. The temperatures on Saturday are actually going to get colder instead of warmer as the day progresses, and that means any kind of moisture on the roadways could very well freeze by sunset Saturday night. So be forewarned there. If there's moisture on the roadway, it's going to freeze because it's going to get very cold very quickly. Very rapid temperature drop on Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. Apple Valley Honda is the sponsor for the National Weather Service. Here we go. Now, our forecast high today is 44. We're at 43 right now. 43 degrees at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport. We may blow past that 44. Record high in this state is 52. I don't think that's in the wheelhouse, but you never know. Also a little breezy at times. That front begins to work its way in tonight. Snow level is going to drop down to about 2,000 feet. We have about a 30% chance of rain tonight. Overnight low about 28. Here's the interesting story on Saturday. That high temperature of 32 is going to be in the morning. By the time the sun goes down, it'll be about 20 degrees. So don't look for that afternoon high. That 32 degree mark that you see there for the high temperature is going to be on Saturday morning, and then we have a chance of some snow Saturday afternoon that we already referred to. Also a little breezy on Saturday, and here comes the cold temperatures. 15 for the overnight lows Saturday night, only 22. On Sunday, 9 degrees for the overnight lows Sunday night. A little bit warmer than they were predicting, but still plenty cold. Our normal high this time of the year is 36. We ain't going to see that, folks, starting tomorrow and all the way through the middle of next week. A huge temperature drop is right on our doorstep. 6 minutes after the hour. The news is on the doorstep, too, in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
We were in Roseburg in the early 80s. Our oldest son, Dan, was a defensive back, a starter on that team. They in fact, became Oregon State champions, setting the first undefeated 14-0 season in Oregon's history. And a lot of people were losing jobs. Friends had left the community. It was a hard time. That football team and companies like Abby's kept that place alive and the community spirit alive. That's legendary.
Just about 8 minutes after the hour, a very mild 43 degrees. We're already near our forecast high. The temperature drops lower than a gopher's basement, starting with some very active weather on Saturday. You were warned. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Here we go. Mayor Frank Kuntz, who's guided the city of Wenatchee since 2012, announced last night that he will not seek a fourth term. The 59-year-old mayor made the announcement official last night. First of all, he sent an email to all of the city staff, and then he told the city council at its regular meeting.
You guys have all heard me talk about this off and on for the last year or so, and I think when I first started saying I wasn't going to run again, I probably didn't believe it myself, but the more I've said it, the more I believed it. So I'm announcing tonight that this will be my last year as mayor. This concludes 12 years as I get through the end of December, and I was 48 when I started this, and having two jobs when you're 48 is a little bit different than having two jobs when you're 60. And I think it's time. It's time for new leadership. It's time for someone else to hold the gavel. I tell you, it's hard emotionally and it's hard physically to do this job. It's hard. It's a tough job. Today was a hard day. You guys don't know today was a hard day? Today was a hard day. It was just a lot going on, 30 different directions, and it's time for someone else. So gonna go spend some time with a grandbaby. I'm gonna find the golf course again. So it's been a really great 12 years. I've loved it. I enjoy working with our team. We have an incredible team. Loved working with you guys, but it's time.
The mayor's term ends at the end of this year. After the meeting, he told NCW Life that there's a lot of city projects that are being pushed forward this year, but he's not favoring any one project.
I mean, people talk about the legacy. What's your legacy project? I always told everyone I don't want a legacy project. The last thing I want to do is say, oh, that was the mayor's legacy was A or B or C or D, right? I want to see them all done. I want to see Confluence Parkway done. I want to see Widener building his townhome or his apartments down here. I want to see the convention center built, right? I want to see an underpass under McKittrick. I want to see North Wenatchee Avenue property sold. Right? It's not all going to happen while I'm sitting here, right? But it's all going to happen sometime. And I don't consider myself having a legacy project, right? if someone says, hey, you did a good job. And there were people that came up to me during my 12 years and thanked me and said, hey, you did a good job, and appreciate what you did. But it's good. That makes me feel good that it was worth all the effort.
And in the interest of full disclosure, in case you didn't know this already, he is my brother. The fire that destroyed that combined cannabis farm and warehouse out in Monitor back in December does not appear to have been intentionally set. That's the preliminary word from the Chelan County Fire Marshal's office. The fire at the former Collins Fruit Warehouse on Monitor's Main Street broke out back on December 15th, consumed the entire structure, filled the Cashmere area with thick smoke for days. At one point, it required a shelter-in-place order because of the burning cannabis materials. Fire Marshal Steve Rinaldi tells us that although arson probably wasn't the cause, the fire does remain under investigation. He says a video recording from an on-site camera was recovered in the fire, turned over to the insurance company that underwrites the building, and that company is still determining if any useful information can be obtained from that video. Dalton Scott Potter, formally charged now with murder, or attempted murder, I should say. The charges are now official. He was charged on Wednesday, plus 12 more criminal counts in the killing of Alyssa Longwell. Douglas County prosecutors charging Potter with first-degree murder in the Saturday killing in which Potter allegedly shot the 37-year-old Kennewick woman to death while she lay by the side of Badger Mountain Road. Sheriff's deputies say Potter, a 27-year-old former Wenatchee resident, then opened fire on 2 witnesses in a nearby car. Aside from murder, the other criminal counts are 2 charges of attempted first-degree murder for the alleged assault on the witness, first-degree robbery with Alyssa Longwell as the alleged victim, 2 counts of first-degree assault, again for the attack on the witnesses, as well as 2 counts of witness intimidation. And because Longwell was Potter's former girlfriend, many of the charges include an enhancement for domestic violence. Prosecutors say Potter was found in possession of Longwell's handgun. That leads to 3 firearms-related criminal charges. And because he was convicted of domestic violence back in 2018, Potter was legally barred from possessing a gun. Sheriff's deputies say he was driving Longwell's car at the time of the murder, and that leads to a charge of possessing a stolen vehicle. And finally, the damage done by the gunfire to the witness's vehicle, resulting in a charge of second-degree malicious mischief. Potter has so far refused to answer questions from investigators or from a Douglas County judge in 2 Superior Court hearings. He is scheduled to be arraigned on February 9th. A residential fire set visible flames up into the sky in Cashmere. This happened on Wednesday afternoon. Fire Chief Blake Larson says an exterior outlet was apparently the starting point, sending the fire up into an attic area. The fire was reported at 3:52 in the afternoon on Wednesday in the 100 block of Creekside Place. That's pretty close to Cashmere Middle School. Firefighters with the city's volunteer department were able to largely control the blaze within an hour with assistance from surrounding fire agencies. Nobody was home at the time, but Larson says the crew were able to get a pet dog out of the house. They were able to get the animal out of the structure unharmed. That's good news. Anticipating a potential $9 million budget shortfall, the Wenatchee School Board on Wednesday voted to use about $2.8 million from its general fund to help slow down staff reductions in the near future. Enrollment in the district is trending down, and pandemic-related federal aid coming to an end, so the board says it hopes to spread any reductions in staff over several years instead of making big, painful, drastic cuts.
Though we are very early in the 23-24 budgeting process, we know there are some challenges ahead. Because of some intentional work that we did early on, we were able to strengthen our reserves. This $2.8 million in additional reserves was a result of some actions we took early on to increase our savings this year, knowing we had challenges ahead. We still have many unknown assumptions and parameters about our budget. We are early in the process.
And the Wenatchee YWCA participated in the annual Point in Time Count yesterday. It's a national event that surveys people experiencing homelessness in the area. It also offers day of resources to folks who may need them. In other parts of the community, outreach workers went around to try and reach folks who are actually living out on the street.
We're here at the YWCA where we have the CVCH Connect mobile clinic. We have a variety of agencies, Molina, the Health District, Veterans Affairs, and many others who are here to connect people to resources and for us to do our actual surveying as well. But then we have folks who are outreach professionals going around town, out in the Upper Valley, out in the Chelan Valley, northern Douglas County, into Malaga, and trying to connect with folks physically on the street. And then we also will be pulling data from all of the shelters programs, and getting the data from them as well, but really wanting to get out on the street and make sure we're connecting with folks who are unhoused, who are camping outside, and see what their situation is, what caused them to be there, and how we can better address their needs.
The data pulled from the surveys are designed to help local leaders figure out how exactly to properly address homelessness in the area. And that's the news at 16 minutes after the hour. If this week has been any indication, we're going to have another busy day in the newsroom today. In fact, I know we are. With the preview of the evening news, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, Governor Jay Inslee will make a visit to Wenatchee. We'll tell you when. Unseasonably mild weather on tap today before much colder weather heads our way on Sunday. I'll let you know how cold we'll get in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has results from area sports from last night and has a look at what's on tap in high school, college, and pro sports action this weekend. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. If you have a news tip, we'd love to hear from you. Look at the bottom of your screen. Facebook, website, email, internet. Wow, I'm way behind the times. After 1 minute, we have a whole bunch of sports. It's an adult portion of sports, but we don't check ID. 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Spring is more than just a time to clean. It's your time to renew, recharge, and spend time with the people you love. At Mary Maids, our cleaning services go beyond the basic services and provide you with a comprehensive clean that will re-energize your home and enhance your life. From everyday routine cleaning or deep cleanings, Mary Maids professional team members can provide you with an unrivaled experience. Call Mary Maids to schedule your cleaning today.
18 minutes after the hour, wrestling was on the docket last night, although I don't know what a docket looks like. We had Eastmont hosting Wenatchee, the final regular season match of the year. Wenatchee, thanks to 4 pins and 3 forfeits by Eastmont, got the victory. Eric Granstrom at the call right here on this very television station.
Going for that Nelson. He's got it with 20 seconds. That's a long time for Cervantes to try to hang on. And he gets the pin. Vivanco trying to adjust, will wrap his left arm around the head, hold on to the other arm, and then lean back and try to get his both shoulders pinned down to the mat here to give his team 6 points. And he does. Trying to look at a freestyle move using his legs to get the cradle. Looking for the pin here is Trenton Miller. How about this move? And Nygaard, I believe if he scissors his feet together, he should be able to get his legs free. I'm thinking. But a pin. Binner has near fall points, looking for a pin, and he got it. Burdan looking for the armbar with 53 seconds. And Burdan looking for more tip points, and he will get them here, and he might get a pin. Kalunga battling against a very powerful man on top of him right now, and a pin. Flugie, meanwhile, has that arm barred up again. Going to go for a pin early here in the second round. Pulls the wrestler back. Housden now staring at the lights. Flugie reverses it. Now arching, trying to stay chest to chest, and gets the pin. Incredible here tonight at Eastmont High School. Now again, the head for Schrader, given up to Whitley. 2-point reversal and near fall points. He's got the head and arm good here. He's got 24 seconds, but needs to watch his weight. And he's taken back over. 3-point near fall, 2-point reversal. Now near fall points going to come for Schrader. Looking for the pin with 13 seconds left in the match. Eastmont fans on their feet. Schrader will get 3-point near fall. Check the score. It's 9-7. Now he's got the leg in, but now watch out. He could get shucked by. And now reaching for the head. He's got the leg. Look out. And he tips him over towards his back. 46 seconds left. 2-point reversal. And near fall points. Whitley trying to come from behind 2 weeks in a row. He trails at 16-11, but he's got near fall points coming. 2 so far. 2-point near fall. Now we'll cover. It's 16-13 with 25 seconds left. He's got the half in, but doesn't have him broken down. 18 seconds remaining. Schrader led it until just moments ago. He still leads it by 3. But Whitley trying to do all he can with 5 seconds left in the round. In the match. In the season here in the regular season. That's it. 16-13. Jake Schrader with the win over Ryder Whitley. What a battle of freshmen that are going to be fantastic down the road for both of these clubs.
By the way, Wenatchee finishes the regular season 5-1 with the victory. Other wrestling scores, as you can see, your winners: Othello, Omak, Cascade, Omak again, and Cashmere came back to knock off Chelan. We'll be right back at Eastmont High School tonight on the NCAA Live channel. It's basketball. The girls tip off at 5:45. We'll have that on Facebook. The boys will tip off at 7:30, Facebook and on television. And then the girls' game will be replayed after the news tonight. Check it out. Your prep girls basketball scoreboard from last night. Your winners: Zilla, Quincy, Highland, Okanagan, Tenasket, Pateras, and Auburn Adventist, all over Cascade Christian. On the Lishwa boys basketball scoreboard, take a look. They're your winners: Zilla, Highland, Okanagan, Tenasket, Pateras, and Cascade Christian got swept in their games over in Bellingham. A busy schedule for the small schools. Start. They're going to be at Western Washington University. That's when Cascade Christian will take on Columbia Adventist at 1. And the rest of the games in prep girls basketball for today, you see. Check it out in your local gymnasium. The boys' schedule looks pretty much the same. They just play a little bit later on in the day. All right, let's check the schedule tomorrow for the smaller schools. And there you go. A lot of afternoon games because, of course, it is on Saturday. That is your girls' schedule for tomorrow, and the boys' schedule for the smaller schools tomorrow looks something like that. Again, pretty much the same as the girls, just a little bit later on the day. For the bigger schools, Eastmont will host Wenatchee on the NCAA Live channel tonight, as you know already. Moses Lake will host Sunnyside tonight. Tomorrow, you got Ephrata back at home against Othello. Then you have Eastmont at Sunnyside, Davis at Wenatchee in girls basketball, and Moses Lake is on the road. At Ike, we'll have the Eastmont and Wenatchee boys game tonight. You know that already. Sunnyside will be at Moses Lake, and Ephrata will be at Ellensburg. And then tomorrow, here's your schedule. You got Othello and Ephrata, Eastmont at Sunnyside, Davis at Wenatchee, and Moses Lake at Ike. Northwest schools went 2 for 3. Eastern beat Idaho State. Washington State lost to Arizona. Washington took Arizona State to overtime, and they got the victory. The men's schedule tomorrow in college basketball looks something like that. Go Gonzaga. As far as the women's scores are concerned, Haley Van Lith struggled again in women's college basketball. She scored just 8 points. Louisville lost to Wake Forest last night. Eastern beat Idaho State in women's basketball. Gonzaga defended the home court, defeating Loyola Marymount. The women's schedule as Washington State visiting Arizona State. The Huskies will take on 19th-ranked Arizona. Tomorrow, you got Eastern at Weber State and Gonzaga hosting Pepperdine. On Sunday, it's Wazoo at Arizona, and the Lady Huskies will visit Arizona State. Seattle Kraken finish up the first half of the NHL season with a couple of home games this weekend. Calgary tonight, and then the Columbus Blue Jackets Saturday. Both games on Root Sports Northwest. Wenatchee Wild, of course, are at home this weekend. Back-to-back games against the Vernon Vipers tonight at 7:05, tomorrow at 6:05, and the NFL playoffs are to the conference championships. The NFC Championship, City of Brotherly Love, the Eagles and the 49ers at noon on Sunday. That'll be followed by the Bengals in Kansas City for the AFC Championship at 3:30 on CBS, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 25 minutes after the hour, it's Friday. It's the obscure holiday. It's National Have Fun at Work Day. Now, you should have a little bit of fun at work unless you're, like a neurosurgeon or a nuclear technician. And a lot of employers don't see the benefits of occasionally goofing off at work. We occasionally goof off at work. We shoot baskets in the bullpen or we dink around. This is part of the deal. But studies have proven that if you have fun at work, every once in a while, not all the time, but every once in a while, if you have fun when you're at the office, it does a lot of good things. You're more motivated to come into the office, that kind of stuff. It increases productivity. It certainly reduces stress. You won't be calling in sick. You have higher job satisfaction. So for you employers out there, every once in a while, let your employees goof off. They usually do when you are taking the day off. Did I let that secret out of the bag? Today is your day to have fun at work, if you can pull it off. We do it every day, 26 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Hard to believe, but the oldest public university in this country was founded on this date. It's the University of Georgia. All the previous universities and colleges that opened before the University of Georgia opened its doors on this date were private institutions. Georgia, the first public university in the United States, opened its doors 238 years ago today, is courtesy of Lyman Hall, who graduated from Yale, signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. He was a big guy. Lived in Georgia, and he convinced the Georgia State Legislature the year before to set aside a bunch of money and a bunch of land so they could open their own public college. Happy birthday to the very first public university in the United States, the University of Georgia, founded on this date in 1785. 56 years ago today, on the launching pad at Kennedy Space Center, Apollo 1. They weren't going anywhere. They were just testing stuff in the capsule, in the module there at the top of the rocket. Fire broke out, killing immediately Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, killed in that fire during the test. They obviously figured out what happened. First of all, just like in an airplane, they were in a pressurized environment, an extremely pressurized environment. It was pure oxygen. And you know what happens when you combine a fire and pure oxygen, and you combine that with the incredible, intense pressure and the fact that they couldn't get out because the hatch opened in and not out. They burned to death almost immediately. And a lot of things in the cabin, turns out, could catch on fire. A tragedy on this date 56 years ago today. I'm sure they're observing this somewhere. This is the 50th anniversary of the end of American involvement in Vietnam. It was 50 years ago today that the Paris Peace Accords were signed. Americans are going out, and for South Vietnam, you're on your own on this date. 50 years ago today, American involvement in the Vietnam War came to an end. Colonel William Nolde, a colonel in the United States Army, was the very last American casualty. He was killed the day before. He was the number 45,914 confirmed American deaths. The final death toll for American soldiers, 57,597. There were about 11,000 soldiers who went missing in action, whose bodies were never recovered. We are out of Vietnam 50 years ago today. We're doing Super Bowls. This may be the best one ever. It's the only Super Bowl that was ever decided by just 1 point. Super Bowl 25, the Giants beat the Bills wide right, 20-19 to win Super Bowl 25. Of course, most people remember this as Whitney Houston's Star Spangled Banner. This was right after the beginning of the Gulf War. In fact, ABC, which televised the game, did not air the halftime entertainment. With New Kids on the Block, instead, Peter Jennings hosted a special report on the Gulf War. And this is still the only Super Bowl decided by just 1 point, and neither team committed a turnover. Super Bowl XV or something like that. And finally, 20 years ago today, the very first selections of the National Recording Registry are announced by the Library of Congress. They've been doing this every year. They started this 20 years ago today. Among the recordings, Thomas Edison's recording of Mary Had a Little Lamb, the oldest surviving recording that there is. The oldest known recordings of Casey at the Bat And who's on first? Bing Crosby's White Christmas, Woody Guthrie's This Land Is Your Land, Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, Elvis's Sun Sessions, and on and on. The first to go into the National Registry on this day 20 years ago today. Let's do some heavenly birthdays and some living birthdays. For a guy who only lived to 35, he done really good, and it's all good. Maybe the best composer ever, certainly Bach, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, you gotta, throw him in there as well. But Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the Austrian pianist and composer, born in the state in 1756. All of his music is good. Good Sunday morning listening when I'm reading the paper. Wolfgang Mozart, born in the state in 1756. Another heavenly birthday, Lewis Carroll, the novelist, the poet, the mathematician, who, of course, wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and the various sequels to that. He was born in the state in 1832. Another heavenly birthday, Jerome Kern, one of the great songwriters this country has ever produced. Let's see, Old Man River, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, The Way You Look Tonight, the musical Showboat. That's Eric Granstrom's favorite musical. He loves Showboat. Jerome Kern, born in the state in 1885. One more heavenly birthday, the guy who played Floyd the Barber on The Andy Griffith Show, Howard McNear, the American actor, born in the state in 1905. During the second season of The Andy Griffith Show, he suffered a stroke, which left him paralyzed on the left side of his body. He missed the show. He was out for a year and a half, and when he returned to the show, he was immobile, and so all the scenes featuring Floyd the Barber, he was either sitting in his barber's chair or sitting down on a bench, or he was being propped up by something that you couldn't see by the camera. So you can always tell pre-stroke and post-stroke Floyd the Barber episodes of The Andy Griffith Show. Nick Mason, the drummer with Pink Floyd, the only member of Pink Floyd to have been a member from the very beginning. Nick Mason is 79 years old, and the 17th Chief Justice of this country, John Roberts, is 68 years old. 32 minutes after the hour, a fantastic interview with a classy lady, Pat West Turner, is coming up. You're going to get to know her book. We have an opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty, but first, Little Girl Needs a Home. Let's pause for pets.
Hi everyone, my name is Haley, and with me this week is Little Girl. Little Girl came into the shelter with three other cats, and one of which is currently living in this room with her. The other two have been adopted out. Little Girl is very sweet. She can be a little bit nervous and shy around new people and new situations at first, but once she becomes comfortable, which only takes like 5 minutes, then she becomes a really sweet, lovey girl. When she is like super into cuddling and pets, she can drool, and she does occasionally roll over and shows you her belly. She's a very sweet, affectionate lady who may do well with another cat in the home. It just depends on how an introduction is done and if your cat is comfortable with another cat in the area. Here in the shelter, she's been really good with the volunteers who have kids. The kids are able to pet her and hang out with her, and she just really enjoys slow, gentle pets and attention. If you want to come down to the shelter and meet with Little Girl, we are open every day of the week except for Wednesday, and we are open 11 to 6 and closed 1:30 to 2:30 for quiet time.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from LocalTel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from LocalTel lets you decide when shows begin.
The newest generation of GMC Sierra pickups offer the most advanced technology, the strongest selection of powertrain, and everything else you need to work hard, play hard, and explore the boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley and beyond. take a look at the latest, most luxurious and durable trucks on the market.
You will see why GMC is not your grandfather's pickup.
You want to bet, kid?
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35 plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently posted a picture on Facebook, a Throwback Thursday pic of my son and Tony and I in Mexico some years ago. In the pic, Tony and I are having a beer, and I'm holding a cigar. A friend posted, "Nice picture, except for the nasty cigar." Well, I beg to differ. Sure, cigar smoking could be considered a questionable activity, but the hours of relaxation cigars have given me and the opportunity smoking one has provided for me to just spend a quiet hour reading a good book has been worth any nastiness some might attribute to the cigar. At least that's in my opinion. Now, the Bible says all things in moderation, and the peace and relaxation a cigar brings is a pleasant life interlude. Of course, Rosie says 3 times a week is not moderation, but I beg to differ. This is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everyone's entitled to my opinion.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chair on the other side. You can use this one.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams real. When you work with a world-class agent at Coldwell Banker, you benefit from trusted guidance and our revolutionary Seller's Assurance Program to make your home sale more rewarding than ever. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
Welcome back to the program. I am a sucker for local people who write inspirational books. I love metaphors and idioms, and I love big fonts. And this book checks all three of them. Pat West Turner has written her memoir. It's called Skiing Uphill, a story of strength and perseverance. Her lovely husband Joe hooked us up, my good friend. Pat, thanks for taking time out and talking about your book.
Well, thanks for caring about my book.
It's a great read. It didn't take me very long at all. I learned a lot about, I would think, being a native of the Wenatchee Valley, I would know you and know of your story. Just to recap, Pat, a native of Antioch, grew up in a Norman Rockwell painting up the Antioch River, about 5-6 miles, lived on a farm, hardy folk, hardworking folk. And then over Christmas break of your senior year in high school, I'll let you take it briefly from there before we move forward.
Okay, well, yep, got out for vacation and came to Wenatchee with some friends, but it was snowing very hard. And on our way home, we hit the back of a snowplow that didn't have warning lights on it. And I didn't sleep in my bed again for 3 months.
You were off to Deaconess.
Off to Deaconess. How we got there, I don't know.
Your right leg was severely injured.
Right.
Eventually, complications set in, and one of the first things I discovered when I had a basic sketch of Pat's story is I was under the assumption that they took the leg fairly soon after the accident. That was not the case. They did everything they could to try to save your right leg, but in the end, it had to go.
They did. They did. The first night of the accident, I severed the main artery in the back of my right leg. And I dislocated my hip. So to put me all back together, they took a vein out of my left groin and hooked me back up and put me in a cast.
3 months in the hospital, and you were quite blunt in the book. It's pretty much a blur for you.
Yes.
You just don't really remember it.
No, partly because I had a severe concussion, as well as the drugs. Severe pain. It's a fog. Yeah.
When did you first realize that I'm going to live the rest of my long, long life without something that I was born with?
Yeah.
I know it's a tough question, but eventually the realization sets in.
It does. It does. There's depression for 2 weeks, and I was able to apologize to my mom before she passed, but I didn't speak to her. I was so angry, and I didn't realize you have phases of depression and loss and grief, and man, I hit them all. But I hit that depression really fast. She even got permission to bring my dog into my hospital room, but it didn't matter. And so I got over that, and just once I got out of the drug fog, I started noticing my surroundings, and the people, the staff, the doctors were great. In fact, I'm still in touch with one of my original nurses.
In fact, I think she wrote in this book, didn't she?
She
write the foreword?
did.
Yeah.
She wrote a letter about her experience with me when I was 17 and 18.
Pat, was it the fact that you were relatively young, you were a teenager, you were a senior in high school when this accident happened, did that help you get past that depression maybe sooner if it happened if you were 40 years old?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I didn't have a career. In my amputee life, I've met a lot of men who couldn't do their career and very angry, still very angry. So I had no intention of going to college. I had a high school counselor tell me that I wasn't smart enough. So I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
They're not supposed to do that, Pat. That's not what they get paid to do.
I Oh, but they did it back then. I know. So, but 3 months in the hospital, I'd lost so much control in those 3 months. Well, it took me about 2 months when I came out of the drug fog and stuff, that I thought, I'm not going to give that control away to anybody else. And I'm going to college.
And you did.
And I did. And I was a junior before I tried being a secretary till I hit shorthand. I was going to be a microbiologist. I couldn't find anything in my microscope. I was, my lab partner did my frog dissection. But then I took a literature class and went to a school and sat in the hall and read with kids. And once I did that, I was 4-point Dean's List.
And it was, you knew you were going to be a teacher. You were going to be an educator.
I was hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, and the funny thing is, here's the cover of the book, and we'll show you a better photo of it. You're skiing. You're skiing.
I was skiing before I was walking in my prosthesis. That saved my emotional life.
You had to get back on the slopes, one way or the other. You were going to...
Otto Ross planted that and took me under his wing, and it was like, do you want to ski again? Yeah, okay, whatever.
And it's not that you took up skiing and you enjoyed the hobby that you loved so much, and you just brought you so much joy. You got good at it.
I did.
Talk about that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I learned to 3-track one season, and the next season, the picture on the book, I was an instructor. And that same year, then I got the equipment from the Mount Hood Flying Outer Ski Club. And then I got friends with them and stuff, and that's where I did most of my racing. Except when I went to New Zealand and I've got all this borrowed equipment from my new friends. They entered me in a race, yeah, whatever. I won a silver medal.
Still got it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, they never caught up with me. What? I never saw it. I was just told.
Or the skiing authorities in New Zealand watching this program, I'll get you Pat's address.
Get my medal to
in just
me.
A little bit. I am venturing to guess that you going out on the slopes, there would be beginners out there who are learning the art of skiing, and they're going, if Pat can do this 3-tracking, I can do it 4-tracking. Yeah. You probably didn't. You probably knew that was going on.
Yeah, yes and no, but I became a much better skier faster on one leg than two.
Because less friction on the snow?
More determination.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, as well as water skiing, I could never slalom ski until I drank half of Lake Aniak and got the timing. It's all about the timing. And then I was good to go.
The prosthetic leg made you somewhat mobile, but people are people. Talk about that for just a little bit. Wait a minute, those don't match up.
I know.
Talk about that.
Especially kids.
Yeah.
Kids are very...
Kids have no filters. They don't know.
You know.
They're worse than school counselors.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. No. They, especially in the beginning, because I wore short dresses and I was a teenager. And of course it was my Barbie leg they just zeroed in on. And their parents would just jerk them away. Okay, I'm still at the point where I'm feeling broken, and that just proved it. So I had a hard time making friends with that piece of wood. And it hurt my feelings, but once I got stronger in myself and what I was doing, and it's just like, this is my life, I was able to either say, would you like me to tell them what happened? And usually they were grateful. So I have forever taught people about accepting a handicapped person, that they're not broken, and you can learn from them.
What did it take? I asked you this on the phone. What did it take you so damn to write this book? You should have written this book 20 years ago. Why? Seriously, it's a great story. It's an inspirational story. What did it? And you're a huge book lover. You consume books voraciously, and yet you finally got around to writing one yourself. I mean, what did it take you so long? You just didn't want to.
I am not a writer. I can't say that anymore, but I wasn't. I didn't journal. I didn't write in a diary. The only writing I did were essays in high school and college. And then, but we'd go on a vacation. I'm the elephant in the room. And I get into my story and I talk easily. And, oh, you should write a book. Well, then somebody, oh, you should write a book. Friends would say, oh, you need to write. Teachers, you need to write. Okay, I'll write the stupid book. So I didn't go into it with a good mental attitude.
You should have dedicated it to your high school counselor who said you were an idiot. Now that would have been good. This is also a bit of a love story. You and Joe.
Yeah.
You and Joe. You're pretty good together, aren't you?
We are. We're a team.
Yeah.
We're a team. Yeah. The story's in the book.
We don't want to spoil any of it. We want you to buy this book and Amazon
or us
through. She's got. We'll show you a picture. She's got a living room full of boxes of books. So let's move these babies. You've sold about over 400.
Yeah.
And that's got to make you feel good. Everybody, the response has been good.
Oh, I am humbled.
Yeah.
By the response. My girlfriend in Chenasca said, it took me 2 glasses of wine to get out of the hospital.
And that's the shortest chapter in the book. I know. You might want to.
It's pretty graphic.
You might see counseling or something. I don't want to talk about that. Our good friend Rufus Woods wrote on the back of it. He tells you all about it. He did a great job on this.
Did.
Pat, what do you want people to take away from this book? Yeah, it's your story, but it's a story that people should be able to relate to. Everybody has setbacks in their life, be it physical or whatever the case may be. What's the message here for the reader?
Life is hard, you will survive, and the more friends you have, the better. It was the village of Aniat that really got me through this, and my family totally supported. So it's just, everybody has struggles, and that's what I would tell kids when I was teaching school. We all have a challenge. Mine is obvious. You may have trouble reading. You may have trouble writing. But normally, no one can see that. And should you tease them if you do see that? And usually, no, So I used it as a teaching tool. And it was very effective, I think.
When your husband Joe dropped by the office and gave me the copy of the book, which I immediately devoured, I thought, what the hell is this? What is this, Joe? I didn't know what it was. Let's close out on this little note. Talk about these little babies, and we'll call it good. Talk about these, Pat.
Okay, bookworms. So my literature teacher in college gave us a bookworm, and I packed it away. I was in California teaching, and I don't know, it surfaced, and I've made thousands of them now. And I used them in my classroom, and kids would do anything to earn one. Little did they know that everybody would eventually get one, but that was okay. And so it's just a fun little thing to bring a smile to somebody.
You mean this isn't the only bookworm?
Oh gosh.
I thought this was the only
Joe was bored one day. I have hit what I call my bookworm condo, and I had over 1,000 ready to go.
But you brought me one, and you brought my coworkers one too, and I appreciate it. And I will use it because I have a Kindle, but I actually read books too.
Okay.
So I promise you on that. Pat West Turner. The book is called Skiing Uphill: The Story of Strength and Perseverance, and it is exactly that. Amazon, buy directly from Pat. If you don't know how to do it, get a hold of me, and I'll let you know how to get a hold.
There you go.
Of Pat. Is there a sequel in the works? We'll leave it at that.
Well, Joe put up with me for 10 years writing this book, and he informed me if I even talked about writing another book, he would shoot me. So that will be the indication that I did write another book. I'm going to be dead.
The book will be written by her husband, Joe, and it'll be entitled How to 3-Putt from 10 Feet. We're looking forward to that. Pat, best wishes, and you want to do the show again? I'd love to have you on.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa end of the year blowout sale is going on now. Spas are scientifically proven to improve sleep and ease arthritis pain. Let us help you find the perfect spa today. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa is helping families reconnect, one hot tub at a time.
Working with August Edge Real Estate, both sellers and buyers feel confident knowing they are in the hands of award-winning professionals. August Edge offers a 2% listing commission, which includes above-standard service and technology.
We offer high-tech 3D imagery, drone photos, local North Central Washington TV ads, and impressive smart flyer installed at your listing. The August Edge website also hosts your home with an interactive featured listing page.
August Edge is professional, personable, and preferable.
At Prestige Senior Living, we celebrate life at every age. From our cognitive and fall reduction programs to our focus on life enrichment and wellness, we help our residents maintain independence while nurturing mind, body, and spirit. Residents also enjoy a wide variety of amenities and services, including restaurant quality dining, housekeeping, a full calendar of events, and so much more. To learn more or to schedule a tour, visit us at prestigecare.com or call the number on your screen. We can't wait to show you around.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill, located in East Wenatchee. Highlander Golf Course has added 2 state-of-the-art full-swing simulators. Food and drink service is available from our full-service bar and grill, offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Indoor and outdoor seating available. Call Shalane, our on-site coordinator, to schedule your special event.
Wow, did you see that shot from up the Lake Wenatchee area? That was pretty cool. Temperature is right now it's 39 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. When this show started, it was 43 degrees. Our forecast high today is 44. We were almost there at 7 o'clock this morning. It's dropped a couple of degrees. It will do that. It's 39 in the Wenatchee Valley. Up in Chelan, not that far away, it's 29. Temperatures are all over the place. It's going to be a pretty quiet day. Lots of sunshine, very pleasant. Enjoy. We are going to have some sunshine next week, but it's going to get really cold. There's 3 slides we want to show for you one more time to emphasize the significant changes coming our way. First of all, scattered snow showers on Saturday, actually starting overnight tonight into Saturday, but we're not going to get much of all here in the Wenatchee Valley. Maybe the foothills might get a little bit of light snow, Leavenworth Plain, maybe as far south as Shaston, some light snow, scattered snow showers on Saturday. Wind, quite a bit of it on Saturday in many locations, especially out of the Columbia Basin. That's that dark red area. These are your wind gusts on Saturday. This is not sustained wind, just wind gusts. As you can see, for a big swath of eastern Washington, it's going to be very, very windy. Not so much here in north central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley. We're going to have some wind on Saturday, but not nearly as bad as other locations that you see on your map. But the big story is going to be what's going to be happening Saturday afternoon. Our high temperature on Saturday is going to be 32 degrees, but that's going to be in the morning. By about noon or 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, the temperature is going to start plummeting, and that means any kind of moisture on the road is going to freeze and freeze very quickly, and that means black ice could be a distinct possibility for traveling on Saturday night into Sunday. It could be dicey, just letting you know. From Apple Valley Honda, proud to sponsor the forecast from the National Weather Service. We're going to see sunshine. We have it right now. It's going to be there all day today. 44 for our forecast high, and we almost got it already. The system begins to move in tonight. Snow level is going to be about 2,000 feet. We're not expecting really any snow at all, with an overnight low of about 28. And here's the strange thing on Saturdays. We talked already. That high temperature Saturday, 32, is going to be Saturday morning, and then it's going to plummet. And I mean plummet very, very rapidly throughout the course of the day on Saturday, and that cold air is going to be hanging around for most of next week. And I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday. Bye-bye.